Everybody has a lot to do before Halloween, and so does Ellie. A lot to do, a lot to do, a lot to do, a lot to do. A costume, a cake, a mask, trick-or-treat bags are important too. Everything is ready for Halloween. It's bedtime on the night before Halloween. It's hard to sleep. Then it's morning and it's Halloween. A lot to do, lot to do, lot to do, and a lot to do. Hurry, hurry, hurry to school for the Halloween parade. See the ghosts, see the goblins, see the pumpkins. Where are they? That was the funniest, most scary, prettiest trick or treat, trick or treat. Happy Halloween.
Berenstain Bears and too much pressure. When cubs and their parents get a little too busy, their everyday lives get a little too dizzy. If someone were to ask who Bear Country's busiest creatures are you, my answer that bees are the busiest. They gather nectar and pollen, make honey, guard the hive, and to do all the other things that have earned them the title busy bees. Or you might answer that beavers are the busiest. They fell trees, make dams, and build lodges with secret underwater entrances. There's no question about it, beavers certainly are busy. But if you were to answer bees or beavers, you would be wrong, because the busiest creatures in Bear Country lately are none other than friends, the bear family. The bears haven't always been so busy. They used to do the things that most families do. They work and play, went to school, visit friends, enjoyed nature, and once in a while, they just sat around and did absolutely nothing. The bears hasn't planned on becoming so busy, it sort of sneaked on them. First, there was Brother Bear and the Little League. Then Sister Bear got bitten by the ballet bug and started ballet class. When her best friend Lizzie Burren started writing lessons, Sister just had to take that up too, and Brother wasn't about to be left out of something as exciting as horseback riding. That's how it was with other activities. As soon as one of the Cubs' friends signed up for something, Brother and Sister had to sign up too. Before anyone saw to say enough is enough, they were also signed up for swimming, gymnastics, soccer. Soccer is how we get our kicks, karate, art, I call it flower with drips, and computer club. Talk about busy. Mama or Papa had to drive Brother and Sister to all those activities. Things got so complicated that Mama had to make a big schedule to keep things straight. Papa hung it on the wall. The schedule was especially difficult on Friday, and today was Friday. Will somebody answer the phone? Called Mama after the fourth ring. I'm busy getting things out of the freezer for dinner tonight's dinner. Can't right now, shouted Sister from upstairs. I'm getting ready for ballet. Me neither, yelled Brother. I'm getting on my baseball stuff. Since Papa was out working on the car, Mama had to answer the phone, reached it by the seventh ring. It seemed a lot longer to Gran on the other end. Hello, said Mama. Hello, dear, said Gran. Is everything all right? You should a little breathless. Just a little, said Mama. I was in the kitchen getting dinner out of the freezer. The Cubs are upstairs getting dressed for ballet and baseball, and Papa. But before she could explain about Papa, her shoulder bag got tangled on the phone cord, which pulled the phone down with a clunk. What happened? Shouted Gran. There was an awful clunk. It was just the phone falling, was there. Anything special, Gran? What Mama didn't explain was that when she stopped to pick up the phone, her hat fell off, and when she reached for it, she tripped over the cord and was now sitting in a tangled heap on the floor. I was just calling to invite you all to dinner sometime soon, said Gran. Love to, Grandpa. We're just on our way out, so let me check our schedule and get back to you. Fine, Gran? Fine, said after a pause. Well, goodbye. Mama, said Sister. What are you doing? Sitting on the floor, playing with the phone cord. Come on. We're going to be late. Drop me off first, shouted Brother on the way to the car. No, me first, cried Sister. No, me, insists Brother. Here we go. When Papa tried to explain what had been wrong with the car, the spark plugs needed cleaning, Mama shouted, Not now, dear, said Wardolph, leaving him in a cloud of dust. Well, Gran said as she hung up the phone, there certainly is a lot going on over at the treehouse. That's the way young folks are, said Gramps. They're like to get out and do things. Why, when I was a young feller, doing is one thing, said Gran. overdoing, she added with a sigh, is something else again. If Papa could have her grand, she surely would have agreed. There was too much going on, too much coming and going, too much rushing about, too much pressure. The Bear family schedule was becoming a nightmare. As it turned out, a whole series of nightmares. The Cubs had planned to watch some TV that evening, but they were so stiff and tired, sister from ballet, brother from baseball, that they went to bed early, fell asleep, and dreamed. Sister dreamed she was on a stranded sort of merry-go-round of activities which went around and around and around. She wanted to get off, but no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't. Brother had a dream too. He dreamed he was caught up in an enormous whirlwind of baseball, soccer balls, and computers. Papa dreamed he was trapped on a magic carpet that was zooming into a deep black hole, only it wasn't a magic carpet. It was that awful schedule from the wall. Mama didn't have a nightmare. The reason was that she didn't fall asleep all night. She laid awake staring into the darkness, wondering how she was going to get through the next day. After a quick breakfast, Mama packed a lunch for Papa, who headed for some work in the forest. Then she shouted the Cubs into the car. Hurry, she said. We have a difficult day ahead of us. There's art class, soccer, karate, and swimming. And we've got to squeeze in lunch and shopping. They climbed into the car, and she turned on the key, but the engine wouldn't start. She tried again, but until it wouldn't start. Please, Mama, shouted Brother. Our karate instructor is very strict about being late. And the soccer coach is worse, yelled Sister. Mama tried again and again. Please, Mama, he screamed, jumping up and down in the back seat. But no matter how hard she tried, the car just would not start. Then Mama did something the Cubs had never seen her to do before. She started to cry. Big wet tears rolled out her cheeks. The Cubs forgot karate and soccer and everything else except that their Mama was crying. What's the matter? Asked Brother. Tell us, please, begged Sister. But Mama just went boo-hooing up the front of the steps, and she went into the house. Go get Papa, Sister said to Brother. I'll stay with Mama. Sister followed Mama up to her room. She fell on the bed, sobbing. All Sister could do, keep from crying herself. It's Mama, you gotta come, shouted Brother. As she reached Papa's workplace in the woods, he told Papa what happened. Papa could see what he was upset about Mama's crying. Everybody cries once in a while, son, he said. Even you? Asked Brother. Sometimes, Papa said. The problem with the car is those spark plugs. We probably need new ones, but the real problem is this schedule of ours. I know Mama didn't sleep well last night, worrying about it. I didn't sleep too well either. I had an awful dream, admitted Brother. That makes two of us, said Papa. Sister had one too, said Brother, as they reached to the tree house. Mama, stop crying, announced Sister, as Papa and Brother came upstairs. That's right, Mama said, smiling with a few last of her tears. There's nothing like a good cry sometimes. And there's nothing like a little common sense about too much pressure, said Papa. So the Bears had a family meeting. Right then and there, the Cubs agreed that 2 after-school activities a week were more than enough. Brother chose baseball and computer club. Sister chose ballet and horseback riding. True, they lost their title, the busiest family in Bear Country, but they went back to having a very good time doing the everyday things that most families do. They worked and played, went to school, visited friends, enjoy nature, and once in a while they sat around doing absolutely nothing.
The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss. The sun did not shine, it was too wet to play, so we sat in the house on that cold, cold, wet day. I sat there with Sally, we sat there we two, and I said how I wish we had something to do. Too wet to go out and too cold to play ball, so we sat in the house, we did nothing at all. So all we could do was sit, and we did not like it, not one little bit. And then something went bumped. How that bump made us jump. We looked, and we saw him step in on the mat. We looked, and we saw him, the Cat in the Hat, and he said to us, why do you sit there like that? I know it is wet, and the sun is not sunny, but we can have lots of good fun. That is funny. I know some good games we can play, said the cat. I know some new tricks, said the Cat in the Hat. A lot of good tricks. I will show them to you. Your mother will not mind at all if I do. Then Sally and I did not know what to say. Our mother was out of the house for the day. But our fish said, no. Make that cat go away. Tell that Cat in the Hat you do not want to play. He should not be here. He should not be about. He should not be here when your mother is out. Now, have no fear, said the cat. My tricks are not bad, said the Cat in the Hat. Why, we can have lots of good fun if you wish, with a game I call Up with a fish. Put me down, said the fish. This is no fun at all. Put me down, said the fish. I do not wish to fall. Have no fear, said the cat. I will not let you fall. I will hold you up high, and as I stand on a ball, with a book on one hand and a cup on my hat. But that is not all I can do, said the cat. Look at me now, said the cat, with a cup and a cake on top of my hat. I can hold up 2 books. I can hold up the fish, a little toy ship, and some milk on a dish. And look, I can hop up and down on the ball. But that is not all. Oh no, that is not all. Look at me now. It is fun to have fun, but you have to know how. I can hold up the cup and the milk and the cake. I can hold up these books and the fish on a rake. I can hold the toy ship and a little toy man. And look, with my tail, I can hold a red fan. I can fan with the fan as I hop on the ball, but that is not all. Oh no, that is not all. And that is what the cat said. Then he fell on his head. He came down from up there on the ball, and Sally and we all saw all the things fall. And our fish came down too. He fell in a pot. He said, I do like this. Oh, no, I do not. This is not a good game, said our fish as he. No, I do not like it, not one little bit. Now look what you did, said the fish to the cat. Now look at this house, look at this, look at that. You sank our toy ship, you sank it deep in the cake. You shook up our house and you bent our new rake. You should not be here when our mother is out. You get out of this house, said the fish in the pot. Well, I like it here. Oh, I like it a lot, said the Cat in the Hat to the fish in the pot. I will not go away. I do not wish to go. And so, said the Cat in the Hat, so, I will show you another good game that I know. And then he ran out, and then, as fast as a fox, the Cat in the Hat came back with a box. A big red wooden box. It was shut with a hook. Now look at this trick, said the cat. Take a look. Then he got on top with a tip of his hat. I call this game Funny Box, said the cat. In this box are 2 things. We'll show you now. You will like these 2 things, said the cat with a bow. I will pick up the hook. You will see something new. 2 things, and I call them thing 1 and thing 2. These things will not bite you. They want to have fun. Then out of the box came thing 2 and thing 1. And ran to us fast. They said, "How do you do? Would you like to shake hands with thing 1 and thing 2?" And Sally and I did not know what to do, so we had to shake hands with thing 1 and thing 2. We shook their 2 hands, but our fish said, "No, those things should not be in this house. Make them go. They should not be here when your mother is not. Put them out, said the fish in the pot. "Have no fear, little fish," said the cat in the hat. "These things are good things," and he gave them a pat. "They are tame, oh so tame. They had come here to play. They will give you some fun on this wet, wet day." "Now here's a game they like," said the cat. "They like to fly kites," said the cat in the hat. "No, not in the house," said the fish in the pot. "They should not fly kites in a house. They should not. All those things they will bump, all those things they will hit. Oh no, I do not like it, not one little bit." Then Sally and I saw them run down the hall. We saw those 2 things bump their kites on the wall. Bump, 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 down the wall in the hall. These two things and thing 1, they ran down on the string of the kite. We saw Mother's new gown, her gown with the dots that are pink, white and red. Then we saw 1 kite bump on the head of her bed. Then those things ran about with a big bump, jump and kick, with hop and bump, big thump, and all those things, all kind of bad tricks. And I said, "I do not like the way they played. If Mother could see this, oh, what would she say?" And then our fish said, "Look, look," and our fish shook with fear. "Your mother is on her way home. Do you hear? Oh, what will she do to us? What will she say? Oh, she will not like it to find us this way." "Do something fast," said the fish. "Do you hear? I saw her. Your mother is near. So fast as you can, think of something to do. You will have to get rid of thing 1 and thing 2. So as fast as I could, I went after my net, and I said, "With my net, I can get them, I bet. I bet with my net, I can get those things yet." And then I let down my net, it came down with a pop, and I had them at least. Those 2 things had to stop. Then I said to the cat, "Now you do as I say. You pack up those things and you take them away." "Oh dear," said the cat, "you did not like our game. Oh dear, what a shame, what a shame, what a shame, what a shame." Then he shut up the things in the box with a hook, and the cat went away with a sad kind of look. "That is good," said the fish. "He has gone away, yes, but your mother will come. She'll find this big mess, and this mess is so big, and so deep, and so tall, we cannot pick it up. There is no way at all." And then who was back in the house? Why, the cat had no fear of this mess. Said the cat in the hat, "I always pick up all my playthings, and so I will show you another good trick that I know." And then we saw him pick up all the things that were down. He picked up the cake and the rake and the gown and the milk and the string and the book and the dish and the fan and the cup and the ship and the fish. He put them away. Then he said, "That is that." And then he was gone with the tip of his hat. And then our mother came in and she said to us, "Did you have any fun? Tell me, what did you do?" And Sally and I did not know what to say. Should we tell her the things that went on that day? Should we tell her about it? Now, what should we do? Well, what would you do if your mother asked you?
Go.
What hatches the egg? My Dr. Seuss. Sighed Maisie, a lazy bird hatching an egg. I'm tired and I'm bored, and I have kicks in my leg from just sitting here day after day. It's work, how I hated it. I'd much rather play. I'd take a vacation, fly off for a rest. If I could find someone to stay on my nest, if I could find someone, I'd fly away free. Then Horn the elephant passed by her tree. "Hello," called the lazy bird, smiling her best. You have nothing to do, and I do need a rest. Would you like to sit on the egg in my nest?" The elephant laughed. "Why, of all silly things, I haven't feathers and I haven't wings. Me on your egg? Why, that doesn't make sense. Your egg is so small, ma'am, and I'm so immense." "Tut, tut," answered Maisie. "I know you're not small, but I'm sure you can do it. No trouble at all. Just sit on it softly. You're gentle and kind. Come, be a good fellow. I know you won't mind." "I can't," said the elephant. "Please," begged the bird. "I won't be gone long, sir. I'll give you my word. I'll hurry right back. Why, I'll never be missed." "Very well," said the elephant. "Since you insist, you want a vacation, go fly off and take it. I'll sit on your egg, and I'll try not to break it. I'll stay and be faithful. I meant what I say." "Toodaloo," sang out Maisie, and floated away. The first thing to do," murmured Horton. "Let's see. The first thing to do is to prop up this tree and make it much stronger. That has to be done. Before I get on it, I must wait a ton." Then carefully, tenderly, gently he crept up the tree to the nest where the little egg slept. Then Horton the elephant smiled. "Now that's that." And he sat, and he sat, and he sat, and he sat. And he sat all that day. He kept the egg warm, and he sat all that day through a terrible storm. It poured and it lightened, it thundered and rumbled. "This isn't much fun." The poor elephant grumbled. "I wish you'd come back, 'cause I'm cold and I'm wet. I hope that Maisie bird doesn't forget." But Maisie by this time was far beyond reach, enjoying the sunshine way off in Palm Beach, and having much fun, such a wonderful rest, decides she'd never go back to her nest. So Horton kept sitting there day after day. Soon it was autumn, the leaves blew away, and then came the winter, the snow and the sleet, and icicles hung from his trunk and his feet. But Horton kept sitting, and said with a sneeze, "I'll sit on this egg, and I won't let it freeze. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. So poor Horton sat there the whole winter through. Then came the springtime, with troubles anew. His friends gathered round, and they shouted with glee, "Look, Horton the elephant's up in a tree!" They taunted and teased him. They yelled, "How absurd! Old Horton the elephant thinks he's a bird." They laughed and laughed, then they all ran away, and Horton was lonely. He wanted to play, but he sat on that egg and continued to say, "I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. No matter what happens, this must be tended. But poor Horton's troubles went afar from the end. For a while Horton sat there, so faithful and kind. 3 hunters came sneaking up softly behind. He heard the men's footsteps. He turned with a start. 3 rifles are aiming right straight to his heart. Did he run? He did not. Horton stayed on that nest. He held his head high, and he threw out his chest, and he looked at the hunters, and as much as to say, shoot if you must, but I won't run away. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. But the men didn't shoot, much to Horton's surprise. They dropped their 3 guns, and they started with wide eyes. "Look," they all shouted. can such a thing be? An elephant sitting on top of a tree. It's strange, it's amazing, it's wonderful new. Don't shoot him, we'll take him, that's what we'll do. Let's take him alive. Why, he's terribly funny. We'll sell him back home to a circus for money.
And the first thing he knew, they had built a big wagon with ropes on the front for the pullers to drag on. They dug up his tree and they put it inside, with Horton so sad that he practically cried. "We're off!" the men shouted, and off they all went with Horton unhappy 100%. Up out of the jungle, up into the sky, up over the mountains 10,000 feet high. Then down, down the mountains and down to the sea went the cart with the elephant, egg, nest, and tree. Then out of the wagon and onto a ship, out over the ocean, and ooh, what a trip! Rolling and tossing and splashed with the spray. And Horton said, day after day after day, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. But oh, am I seasick, 100%. After bobbing around for 2 weeks like a cork, they landed at least in the town of New York. All ashore, the men shouted, and down with a lurch went Horton the elephant, still on his perch, tied onto a board that could just scarcely hold him. Bump! Horton landed, and then the men sold him. Sold into a circus. Then week after week, they showed him to people at 10 cents a peek. They took him to Boston, to Kalamazoo, Chicago, Weehawken, and Washington too, to Dayton, Ohio, St. Paul, Minnesota, to Wichita, Kansas, to Drake, North Dakota. And everywhere, thousands of folks flocked to see and laugh at the elephant up in a tree. Poor Horton grew sadder the farther he went, but he said as he sat in the hot, noisy tent, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. Then one day, the circus show happened to reach a town way down south, not so far from Palm Beach, and dawdling along way up high in the sky, who, of all people, should chance to fly by but that old good-for-nothing bird, runaway Mizey, still on vacation and still just as lazy, and spying the flags and the tents just below, she sang out, "What fun! Why, I'll go to the show!" And she swooped from the clouds through an open tent door. "Good gracious," gasped Mizey, "I've seen you before." Poor Horton looked up with his face white as chalk. He started to speak, but before he could talk, there rang out the noisiest, ear-splitting squeaks from the egg that he'd sat on for 51 weeks. A thumping, a bumping, a wild-alive scratching. "My egg!" shouted Horton. "My egg! Why, it's hatching!" "But it's mine!" screamed the bird when she heard the egg crack. The work was all done. Now she wanted it back. "It's my egg!" she sputtered. "You stole it from me. Get off of my nest and get out of my tree." Poor Horton backed down with a sad, heavy heart. But at that very instant, the egg burst apart, and out of the pieces of red and white shell from the egg that he'd sat on so long and so well, Horton the elephant saw something whiz. It had ears and a tail and a trunk just like his. And the people came shouting, "What's all this about?" They looked, and they stared with their eyes popping out, and they cheered, and they cheered more and more. They'd never seen anything like it before. "My goodness, my gracious," they shouted. "My word, it's something brand new. It's an elephant bird. And it should be like that." Because Horton was faithful, he sat and he sat. He meant what he said, and he said what he meant, and they sent him home happy, 100%.
A kiss for a little bear. This picture made me happy, said the little bear. Hello, hen. The picture is for grandmother. Will you take it to her, hen? Yes, I will, said the hen. Grandmother was happy. This kiss is for the little bear, she said. Will you take it to him, hen? I will be glad to, said hen. Then the hen saw some friend. She stopped out and shouted, "Hello, Frog. Had a kiss for a little bear? It is from his grandmother. Will you take it to him, Frog?" "Okay," said Frog. But Frog saw a pond. He stopped to swim. "Hi, Cat. I had a kiss for the little bear. It's from his grandmother. Take it to him, will you?" Cat, "Hi. Here I am in the pond. Come and get the kiss." What's that?
Ugh.
"Oh," says the cat. But he came and got the kiss. Cat saw a nice spot to sleep. Little stunk. I had a kiss for the little bear. It is from his grandmother. Take it to him. Like a good little stunk. Little Trunk was glad to do that. But then he saw another little stunk. She was very pretty. He gave the kid to her, and he gave it back. And he gave it back. And then the hen come along. "Too much kissing," she said. "But this little bear's kiss for his grandmother," said the little skunk. "Indeed," said hen. "Who has it now?" The little skunk had it. He got it back. She went to the little bear, and she gave him the kiss. "It is from your grandmother," she said. "It is for the picture you sent her. Take one back to her," said the little bear. "No," said hen. "It gets all messed up." The child decided to get married. They had a lovely wedding. Everyone came, and the little bear was the best man